further away from the financial crisis, but it didn't have any brakes. And when you ask economists how do you unwind quantitative easing, they do not know. Only a financial crisis can because they have put a lot of the money into gilt and bonds, and that money that's gone into gilts and bonds has now created the biggest bond boom in the history. If they start to sell bonds, everyone else will start to sell bonds, and we will then have a crisis. If the rest of the money has been given to banks to stabilise them, to get their accounts stable, but normally printing money creates high inflation. High inflation comes from two things: printing of money and the circulation of money. And now the economy is moving, the circulation will cut in, and we should expect 6 to 7% inflation. That is what the economists are predicting. It's going to take a number of years to unwind quantitative easing. There's a problem waiting to explode on this nation. And that's why the politicians are not talking about it. The national debt is £1.3 trillion. That is equal to £27,000 per adult in this nation. The average wage in this nation is £26,000. So it's a whole year's earning the government owes of every person living and working in this nation, let alone the personal debt, which is £1.7 trillion, and that is equal to £28,000 per adult. So this nation is badly in debt. If there is a loss of confidence in this nation, everyone will go, I want their money back, and they will all leave this nation, and we will be in crisis. The years of Jesus blessing this nation are coming to an end, and we are not facing up to the issues of this nation. What is doing? Need a drink.
Economic and technology has baffled up people's mindset, and now people looking for a God outside of them. People need to be looking more inside and loving people.
Last year Jesus said to me, come down to Speaker's Corner and warn the people that the years of Jesus blessing this nation are coming to an end. And so I did. And then in December he said, go down to Selzy Bill and watch the storm waves roll in. And so I went down to Selzy Bill as the storm waves rolled in. And there was a sandbar about 600 metres offshore. And the waves broke on the sandbar, and then much smaller waves came through to the mainland. And Jesus said, that is how I have been blessing this nation. I have been putting sandbars up there to protect you from the worst effects of weather and from the worst effects of people wanting to do harm to this nation. But that is coming to an end. And then in January it rained and it rained and it rained. And in February it rained and it rained and it rained. And in March it rained and it flooded and it rained. And we had the worst rains for 350 years. The years of Jesus blessing this nation are coming to an end. And why is this happening? It's because of the moral decline of this nation. We have firstly turned our backs on Jesus. Only 5% of people go to church now. How often do you hear a Bible quoted on a TV or a news programme? How often do you hear people asking to go to prayer? This nation has turned its back on Jesus. And we are no longer protecting the young. 20% of pregnancies land up in
Sorry, what is your point? I'm sorry, I just arrived here. Can you give me a summary?
All right, basically the years of Jesus blessing this nation come to an end, and this nation needs to turn back to Christ, or we're going to be in crisis.
I thought you were talking about the European Union and Brussels. And,
well, we're giving half our powers to them, basically. And so it's a case of the
well,
problem.
not half, but let's say 30%.
50% of laws are made in Brussels now. And I work in business. Every
law.
business law is made in Brussels. All the HR laws are nearly made in Brussels. The environmental laws are made in Brussels. The health and safety laws are made in Brussels. A lot of laws are made in Brussels.
I agree. Numerically, perhaps, but not the main one. Okay, go ahead.
So 50%. So at the end of the day, the question is that we're at the rotten end of the migration as a nation. But so that we
why do you get out of the EU then? What are you holding it?
But that is an argument you can put, and I can see some benefits to it, because as a father I want my children to be able to buy homes and to live in them, to go to schools, to be able to use the hospitals. And the hospitals are full up with people coming abroad for the NHS tourism. there aren't the homes for my children to buy. The schools are over full.
good.
So at the end of the day, I don't mind some migration, but we've got too many, and so my children
migration
cannot
from Europe
have
or
an
from
equivalent lifestyle as I've got.
You talking migration from Europe or from Africa?
Well, outside Europe can be controlled.
from
We
America.
can't control inside Europe. So basically,
But the
if there is
tourists
a
are not bad.
crisis in Italy, we could easily have 1 million Italians moving in. There's no law to stop it.
I'm visiting, but I'm not saying.
So at the end of the day, there's free movement within the European Union.
Yeah.
Anyone outside the European Union, there are rules and
Right.
quotas, etc. So at the end of the day, if you talk to people in East Anglia, you'll find that Polish is the main language there now, not English.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they're pretty clever.
Really?
Yeah, you go to Lincoln and Boston and places like that.
Main foreign language.
Well, actually, the second national language now in the UK
yeah, but
is
it's
Polish,
not the main language.
which
It's
is
language.
interesting because we've been
not the
paying the
main language,
BBC
it's
for 40
language.
years to teach the Welsh how to speak Welsh. And so now, but the second most popular language in this nation is Polish. So as a result, the BBC have failed and I'd like my money
Is that a
back.
bad thing?
So
What about English in India?
I don't mind
70
some
million
people
people
coming
speaking
in,
English
but
in
I
India.
would like my children to have the same opportunities I have.
America.
So what? To be able to buy their houses, they can't. There aren't houses available.
That's about
They're
house
priced out of the
prices. That's about
market.
house
They
prices.
would like to, their
It's got nothing to
children
do
to
with
go
Polish.
to schools.
Polish
The
people
schools
build half the
are
houses. What are you talking
overfull
about?
with foreign people moving
Build
in.
the houses.
The NHS is full of people coming in for health tourism. So at the end
It's
of
also
the
full.
day,
It's also full of nurses and doctors from abroad.
yes, that's true.
So what are you talking about?
Well, no, at the end of the day, we're
If you
paying for all
calculate the
this.
amount of nurses and doctors, when you think Polish people don't pay the taxes, they pay taxes. What are
We
you
can
talking
use
about?
British people to drive the taxis.
No, pay taxes.
Pay taxes.
Yeah.
Yes, for 3 years,
So if you calculate the net loss and
benefits
gain
of people coming into this country was better than the people not coming in. But
What?
that has
What?
reversed
What was
round.
that? What was that?
We now spend more money looking after people coming into the country on welfare costs, getting them adjusted
Says
to the
who?
country.
What, as compared with
It's
taxes?
government
As
statistics.
compared with taxes?
The Imperial
As
College
compared with
did
taxes?
a survey, an investigation on the benefits of immigration over the last 20 years. And they've done a curve of where the money spent by government on immigrants versus the money gained by taxes on immigrants. And you see, for the 3 or 4 years prior to 2007, that there is actually a benefit, and that's the point the politicians quote. But from 2009 onwards, we are spending more on the immigrants
What you
than
mean
the
is, what
country
you
is
mean is,
benefiting from.
what you mean is, since
And that is what the
2009 there's
figures-
been an economic recession.
That's right,
That's
but
what it
it's
is. That's
just...
got nothing to do with immigrants.
Well, yes, it has. It's changed the economics of it.
hasn't.
Well, that's what the figures show.
No, it doesn't.
That-
The
that-
figures you stated show that after 2009, if they're correct,
Well, you
if
go
they're,
on
I'm
to
just
Imperial
assuming what
College
you've
website
said. I'm
and look at
assuming
this
that that's true.
report.
I'm assuming
It's
that. I'm
150
assuming that what you.
pages long,
I'm starting
it's
from the assumption that what you said is
well-researched, it's
true.
quoted a number of
I'm
owners,
starting
figures,
from the assumption. You're not listening to me.
it's
I'm starting from the assumption that what you've said is true. So you don't have to quote me where it's from.
Yeah.
I'm just starting from that assumption. I don't know whether it's true or not, but I'm starting from that assumption. But on that assumption, from what you said, it doesn't back up your own argument. Because you said after 2009, in other words during the economic crisis, then there's been a
Was
net
that
increase.
coincidental or
yes,
causal?
it's coincidental. It's not causal, is it?
No, I don't
Because
know.
prior to 2000,
That's
prior
what
to
we need,
2000,
that's
it's not
statistical
causal because prior to 2007, you just stated that there was a net benefit.
Only for 3 years, 2005.
Net benefit.
Before that, there was a loss again.
Lost what?
Of that we spent more on immigrants than we did gain from immigrants. So at the end of the day, it was a 3-year period, 2005 to 2008. And then when it comes to 2009,
In your opinion, who constitutes an immigrant?
person who hasn't got a British passport.
So in other words, in 1948, do you know how many people are eligible for British passport?
Well, there's a history, so I don't know.
You've got an idea?
No.
You think it's got better or worse now?
Well, people didn't travel in those
Britain
days, so
wasn't in the EU.
there'll be a lot less
How many people didn't travel?
with British
How many people didn't
passports.
travel?
Basically.
What do you mean people didn't travel? What are you talking about?
A lot of people didn't travel in those days.
Well, how did we occupy India then? How did we have people in
Yeah, all
colonies
right,
in
we
India?
had some people that travel, but the majority of the
Is it
population
okay for British people to
travel
emigrate?
outside the
Is it
UK.
okay for British people to emigrate?
people couldn't have the freedom of movement if the country receiving them was prepared to accept them.
Like this, like
But at the end of the day, some immigration is fine, but we've had too much. And we've not got the facilities to cope with
In
it.
comparison to what?
In comparison to what this nation can cope with. This nation has a fairly slow growth rate in population. It has a number of institutions. It has a high level of
So the slow growth rate in population, then you require immigration.
Well, no, why do we need a large
If you've got a slow growth rate in population, to pay for pensions and so on. Yes.
People have saved
That's
the
where it
money
comes
that's
from.
being paid for by their investment.
That's nice, but paid for by the workers that are working today.
Overpopulation
Well,
black.
don't
It's
you
paid
pay
for by the
pension
investment.
money out
That's
of your
imaginary.
income each month?
It's paid by actual productive work today, of course it is.
Out
Not
of
paid
each
by
one of my
pieces
salary money
of
has to
paper
go
in a
off to the
bank.
pension fund.
Yes, but that's
When
an
I get to
illusion.
that
The
age.
reality is the actual wealth that's produced is produced by people every day working. It's not produced by you having a piece of paper in a
No,
bank.
but the money can be invested in Chinese people working, not British people, or Indian
Oh,
or
money, money,
Spanish.
money.
So the money can be invested elsewhere.
Okay, leave it to it.